You're watching Samuel Goodwin on YouTube, and I'm working on a lot of things this year, generally trying to get better, and I thought I would just elaborate on exactly what we're trying to do this year and what you can expect from the channel. So first off, with yo-yo, I did manage to film my 1-minute freestyle. You saw it last week. It's definitely not a very competitive freestyle. I thought it was pretty good. Some of you liked it. I appreciate your nice comments about it. This year though, I want to aim for one that's a little more impressive. I think the format of trying to film a whole freestyle instead of learning specific tricks or even making a list of tricks that I must learn or something, it's a good way to frame the goal, and I'm going to stick with that. There's going to be plenty of tricks learned, new techniques, etc., to get to a much more impressive 1-minute freestyle by the end of the year. With Japanese, I still don't know if I'll be able to take the national language exam this year. We'll find out in a couple months, I guess, if I can sign up in July or for the December one later, because they're only offered the 2 times a year, so if you can't get in, you just have to wait another 6 months. And the last couple of years, they've been severely limited and stuff, so we'll see what I can do. In the meantime, though, I have some books that Anna bought me. There were 3, but I already read the first one over the holidays. So this book is about some of the people who experienced the atomic bomb dropping in Japan during World War II, or the end of World War II. And this is a book by apparently a well-known author in Japan, and it's about trains. This book is on the scale of maybe your first chapter book you would read as a kid. It's decently long, but it's not super thick, and there are occasionally some pictures to break it up a little bit. Where this one is more like you're just reading a novel. It's hundreds of pages long. It's kind of dense, the font is kind of tiny, but it's still legible, which is important. So I'm going to try to get through these by the end of the year, and ideally I would pick up a 3rd book and finish that as well once I get through these. I think reading is a really good way to learn a language. It's definitely how you learned whatever languages you speak, especially your first one. You were reading a bunch as a kid. People were reading to you. Even if you didn't want to read, you were reading because you were being forced to in school. You were being tested on it. It's a whole thing. We read everything that's around us. So I figured this would be good practice to help improve my skills. With skateboarding, I'm going to be trying to do very similar to what I was doing last year, which is just to do what I can do, only higher. I can actually do quite a few tricks on transition, but so far I've only managed to do them about 1 meter off the ground or so, and there are much bigger ramps than that to skate on here, and I would like to make better use of them. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll recall that I have been struggling for quite some time with this bowl near my house, trying to axle stall on it, and I've gotten close. I've gotten things that were almost as tall. I should be able to get that this year. We've only had 3 days so far this year where you could skate, and I was outside all 3 of them battling. You'll see footage of that later if I ever do land it. But that's what I'm going to work on this year, is just being able to do those things in the big bowl, basically. With ballad songs, I'm going to try to approach this similar to my goal with yo-yo. So I would like to be able to put together 30 seconds of me doing tricks. Especially with ballad song, I feel like it should be non-stop. So 30 seconds of keeping this thing moving, doing tricks that I've learned, stringing them all together, and making a decent little video out of that. We're probably going to have to learn some more tricks for that, so there'll be videos about that. There'll be videos of me working on actually figuring out what kind of sequence I think will look nice. And in theory, I will develop some sort of style as a ballad song flipper, and we can see what that looks like. Should be fun. Lastly, with beglery, I've done the least with these. I've learned the least tricks with these. I find some things like weirdly confusing, even though you would think it's not that complicated. It's different versions of letting this thing move around in between your fingers. So we're just going to be a little bit easier on myself this time and say that the goal is just to learn more tricks so that I can say I actually know what I'm doing with these at all. Because right now I could do about 3 tricks, maybe 2 reliably, and it's not very impressive. Well, we're going to work on that this year and hopefully fix it. So that's what 2022 is going to look like. Hopefully some of that is interesting to you. I know some people like skateboarding but not yo-yos, or the other way around, or whatever. But the general idea is that all of this stuff is very much related The strategies for how to learn and get through these things are all kind of similar. There's just less threat of bodily harm for some of them compared to others. So hopefully you'll follow along with me and stay subscribed and tell your friends, and we'll just all like learn things and get better and share our experiences. And I want to hear more from you all in the comments about what you're working on and what you've done to make progress, and we'll just collectively move forward. For now though, hopefully you're getting some rest, you're drinking some water, go outside this weekend, get some sun on your face, do a little physical activity of some kind, whatever you're into. I really hate running, so I wouldn't recommend running, but if you're into that, then maybe go ahead. And we'll see you next week.